Yeah, I want to mention something here that one of the biggest problems you have is the lack of trace minerals, and the reason you have a lack of trace minerals is because the soils have been depleted. I think it was Dr. Wallach who mentioned this many years ago, but it's been known actually since the 1930s. And by the way, there's my little cat out there. Here she is, staring at me as I'm making a video, but anyway. But what you could do to help alleviate that situation is to take trace minerals, which are it's a very, very cheap supplement, because basically it's like a high quality dirt. Basically, that's really what it is. It can be mined by the ton. It could be mined from the seabed in the Great Lakes, or some veins of earth that contain all the 72 trace minerals. I got this brand here. I got this from Swanson Vitamins. Usually I get stuff from either Swanson Vitamins or Puritan Pride. But one thing you can have a problem with is absorbing the minerals. And I know, like, you could say chelated minerals is, a better way. You get better absorption. I don't have it out here, but magnesium citrate is more absorbable type of magnesium. But this stuff, this is not well known. Dr. Willard's Water. And what I do is actually I buy it by the gallon, and I use this little container as the container I use to fill up, to put like an ounce or half an ounce or whatever it is in a glass of water. And I reuse this container because it's it's easier to pour a little bit out of this versus a gallon jug, but it's a lot cheaper to buy it by the gallon. I think in the future I'm going to get the Dr. Willard's Water clear versus the dark. The dark actually has some trace minerals in it, but not all 72 trace minerals. So I figure maybe I'm going to get the clear, and because the Dr. Willard Water actually is something that helps the body absorb nutrients and also these trace minerals. So you could be taking these trace minerals, and that's a large problem even with a lot of vitamins and stuff. You could be taking 100% of iron or 100% of whatever, magnesium, and maybe your body's only absorbing 10% of it. So with the Dr. Willard Water, it helps a lot with the absorption rate. Now, this is not well known because this stuff actually isn't sold in a lot of, it's only sold from their sites and some of the health food sites, store sites and vitamin sites. It's not sold in the retail stores. You can't go into, Walgreens or Walmart or Target and buy this stuff. The reason it survived, though, for so many decades and being popular with people, especially where it's been produced in South Dakota, is because the farmers have gotten great results out of it. It helped with the animals, and it also helped with the seeds to grow into hardier plants. They would soak seeds in a solution of Willard Water, not straight Willard Water, but a solution of Willard Water, and the plants would grow hardier. They'd have a stronger root system. Here comes my cat. Here he goes. Here she goes. Anyway, so it's not well known, and I'm not. I've got no financial affiliation with the product or anything. And actually, to tell you the truth, I forget about taking this stuff. I forgot about taking it, but I'm taking it again because I have been taking the trace minerals, these things every day. And what I want to do is take the trace minerals, the kelp, the iodine, because this probably doesn't have everything you really need in sufficient quantities. It's got all 72 trace minerals, but it doesn't really have, in other words, there's no recommended daily allowance really established for a lot of these trace minerals. So, there's different theories on what's optimal. But I do know, like, iodine and kelp is a really powerful trace mineral. Iodine is, and also is boron, and selenium. So I'm going to take these three, and I have been taking kelp and boron. I'm going to also add the selenium with the trace minerals and the Dr. Willard Water, and maybe some of the chelated copper once in a while, because I take a lot of vitamin C to help absorb these minerals, because it's not necessarily you know, because I think it was Dr. Wallach said this, it's not exactly what you eat, it's what you don't eat that can really kill you. And today, our soils are so depleted on food, on nutrients and trace elements, that, you know, no matter how healthy you eat, even if you're eating whole foods or organically grown vegetables, they're being organically grown in depleted soils. I think there's 3 things that all plants really need in different ratios. I think it's potassium, phosphates, and nitrogen. I believe that's what the 3 are. They don't really need the trace minerals to survive. We need them. And it's when they're uptake through the plant, when we consume them, that we get the good health. I've been, so far I'm about halfway through my experiment with taking a whole bottle of this good and cheap Carbon C60, 1 bottle a day for 7 days. To tell you the truth, honestly, right now I can't tell any difference. I was thinking if I up the experiment a lot more, would I be able to tell it? I don't know, but you know, still the experiment's still not over with. I think after you know, if I don't feel a big difference, I'm probably going to back off taking so much of this. I'll probably maybe take the contents of a bottle every week. You know, that'll be plenty. So, but what I'm going to continue to do is, and I have forgot about doing this, was taking a Dr. Willard Water. And I think in the future, even though I have plenty of stock on hand, I got almost a full gallon of Dr. Willard's Water Dark on hand, which has some trace elements in it. And I think there's 26 trace elements in the Willard Water, but there's 72 that you really need. So in the future, I'm going to order the clear and then take the trace elements separately. And this way, the absorption of the trace elements will be increased. Because even though you could be taking, I think it's, there's certain forms of like iron that you can take that they just don't absorb. As a matter of fact, like in the retail supermarkets, like they'll show like a bowl of cereal might have 100% of the daily requirement of iron. Well, that type of iron that they have in there is very much non-absorbable by the body, so you could be taking 100%. That doesn't mean your body's getting 100%. And what the Willard Water can help with is, it helps with the absorption rate of nutrients. So the reason I do know this stuff works is because they tried to actually take it off the market for a period of time. And there were so many people in South Dakota, especially, and farmers, that wrote to the governor, I think it was of South Dakota, that, put this thing back on the market. We need it. It's vital to our production of agriculture. It's vital to our livestock. We've been using it for this and that. It's been doing, nobody's 100% sure why it works so damn good. But, when I see something work on animals or plants, we can, leave out the placebo effect. Like, in other words, people, if they believe something's going to work, you can give them a sugar-coated candy pill or something, it'll work, right? But when it works on animals and plants, and people are seeing the results for many years and decades, it works. So, my strategy now is I'm going to take, I was taking this for a while. I forgot about taking it. And, I wasn't taking this, actually, because I figured this had trace elements in it. But when I read that this doesn't really have all 72 trace elements, it has, I think, 26 or something. So I'm going to take this, and I'll be taking the boron and the kelp. I order some more of that, and the selenium sometimes, and the copper, because I take a lot of vitamin C. And I'll be continuing on with this experiment, see if I feel, I'm also thinking possibly the Willard Water is going to help absorb that stuff too, better too. I don't know. I'm actually taking this stuff not all at once, in little doses during the day. I'll take the whole bottle, but in small doses during the day. But it's all an experiment, and I'm thinking, you know, it's pretty much proven that, you know, you definitely need these trace elements or trace minerals. You definitely need them. And if you're missing something, even one trace element, it could be lethal. Believe it or not. That's why a lot of times even the most trained athletes don't live as long, because they're always sweating out all these trace elements and stuff from their body. You got to keep replacing them. So we're going to see about this, and you know, it's something that I can't tell you what the result's going to be inside of a day or week or even a year, but I'm assuming the theory is 100% correct, because, you know, this Dr. Willard's water has been proven to work to help absorb nutrients, and by doing that, give a lot more life and vitality. It's worked not just for people, but for plants and animals. That proves to me the damn thing works. So if I'm taking it with this and the trace elements and something like iodine, which kelp and boron, I think it's going to do me a lot of good. So we shall see. But, you know, it's something I'm not going to be able to tell you, like, oh, I feel so much better in 2 weeks, and, you know, I think a lot of times people say that stuff. I mean, I think it's a placebo effect, but you might notice there might be a big difference over a period of years. It's like, you know, maybe 20 years from now, when I'm in my 80s, I'm still going to be working on these cars and riding my motorcycle and, you know, doing some roofing and doing tree trimming and all this other wonderful stuff, and I'm still have plenty of energy. That's going to wind up being a proof. You know, you wonder how some people can be so old and still do stuff. Well, maybe this is why, right? Because they have the right stuff. And that's been proven throughout history too, that where people are longest lived, they'll have these trace elements or trace minerals in their soils. So when they consume their vegetables, they can be consuming the same vegetables as somebody else, someplace else in the world, but their vegetables were grown in the right soils that are uptaking the trace minerals. And you will absorb trace minerals a lot better if they're uptaked into the plant itself, right? But, you know, when you're taking a pill, I don't know how well you're absorbing that stuff. You know, maybe you want to take it with food or whatever. But still, I'm figuring that if you add the Dr. Willard's water, which actually helps with the nutritional absorption rate, that's going to make sure that whenever I'm taking something of this, that, you know, if it says I'm getting 100% of the value of something, and in some cases the trace minerals don't have they don't have a recommended daily value, that I'm getting that amount absorbed because I'm taking that stuff. So the theory, and this stuff is varies in price greatly. If you go, I think I got one, if I got a gallon of it on, I believe Swanson Vitamins, if you buy about a gallon, you look around on the net, the prices are all over the place, man. If you buy like a small container, it's more money. If you buy a gallon of this stuff, it can even vary a lot too, depending on where you buy it from. So do shop around. It's the same stuff. There's only one Dr. Willard's water. And it can be very, very economical because you don't need that much per day to help with the absorption rate. You just put a little bit in some water. So that's what I've been doing. And I drink that and I take the other stuff. We're good to go.